Welcome everyone to our 12th Fireside Chat. I'm Tim Hollick, and with me as always is my good friend Joe Zinni.
It's hard to believe this is number 12.
I can't believe we've done that many already.
Yeah, no, but they're coming up great. I really enjoy doing them. I think we get some information out to the folks. I love asking you questions to find out what makes you tick, so people know why, especially when you do your blogs in the morning for Facebook.
Right.
They'll get a rough idea of what you look like and what you're talking about when we break it down even further.
Right.
We're going to talk about energy today.
That's a good subject.
It's a great subject because we've had many different discussions, and there's a couple pieces of this that personally affected you, and it's important because I always say to you, gee, Tim, I don't know where you get the energy from, and you say, I don't either. But I think you do know, and in order to move forward, you have to have the energy. Where do you get the energy from?
Well, there's times in our lives where, you don't feel as good, say.
No, right.
And I've gone through stuff in the past with my sleep apnea and things like that. And there's been times in the morning when you wake up, you're so exhausted, you really don't feel like you can go forward. But I feel what gets me out of bed in that morning is the purpose that I put in my life. The purpose of my life is my business that I've ran for 40 years.
Right.
And sometimes the purpose and those thoughts are bigger than what you feel like.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at it as a positive thing, and it gives you the energy. I mean, you get up in the morning 3 days a week, you get on the Peloton and work that to, first of all, it's getting you going, and
Right.
so you're building that energy.
And again, you have to look at the end result. The purpose of what you're trying to succeed is your end result. So the end result for me when it comes to exercise is still feeling good,
Yeah.
still feeling somewhat young, so I have the energy, and maybe I'll live a little bit longer. So I get up in the morning, believe me, getting up with sleep apnea, even with wearing a mask, is very difficult.
Yes.
I have to push myself out of it because I'm sleepy
Yep.
when I wake up. So what do I have in my mind? The end result. The end result that I need to exercise at my age. I'm 60 years old, and in order to feel better, it's not just eating habits, it's exercise too. Exercise is such a big part of people's life. They just don't get themselves past it. And of course, when you go back to exercise or start exercise for the first time, it's difficult mentally and physically because you know what it's like after you exercise that first day.
Yeah.
You're sore.
Yeah, you hurt. And
With the muscles.
And the next day you're going to go, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And it's a good question, but you're trying to build that energy up. And you touched on an important thing, and that was part of my next question. Sometimes, it's a little more difficult than others. And you have some tough times, so what do you do? I mean, how do you find that energy? You look at purpose. But you talked about something important, and you were sick for a long time.
Mm.
You couldn't get any answers, which now invades your body and your soul.
15 years of no answers really, other than chronic fatigue syndrome.
Well, and that doesn't always answer the question.
No.
So now you've got this illness that you can't figure out. You got a business to run. You got a family to deal with. You got a young daughter. And how did you find the energy to get by all that?
Again, it's mental preparation, knowing that how I'm going to feel in the morning. You got to kind of tell yourself at nighttime that you got to get yourself going. And it's not easy when you don't feel good in the morning. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that have a lot worse things. And some of my friends that have worse, they do keep going, they keep positive. So it's a mental thing. If you do not prepare your mind, you're not moving anywhere. And purpose gives you direction.
Yep.
The end result gives you that thought of, I know where I'm going.
Yep.
So you have to give that more life than how you feel. I don't get out of bed if I've got the flu. If I've got a temperature and I'm really bad, I stay in bed. But I know that's going to be quick. That's going to be a few days, maybe up to a week. But when it comes to a business, or you might have a high-powered job, you might be a manager, you might be a teacher, you've got to look at what you're doing first before you, I didn't infect anybody with what I had.
No.
It's not an infectious thing.
But it was beating you up. It was
mentally.
It was pulling you down, and you still got to find that energy every single day to get out of bed and go, okay, I know I don't feel good, but I need to reach down and get a little extra so that I can get out there. And it's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not, because sometimes you're forced to do things too, money-wise. I'm sure a lot of people get out of bed sometimes not feeling good and go to work because they know if they don't get paid,
Yeah.
they can't eat.
Yeah.
So that's always a motivation, but it goes beyond that. It goes beyond, again, purpose. What are you setting out to do in your life? Mental is everything. That's why I do the posts. Get people in the right mental mindset, and it helps.
And see, and people don't realize, when I talk, and I'm going to skip around a little bit because I had it different, but you're talking about mind, body, and soul. And it's, when we're talking about energy, we're not necessarily talking about energy, running around, grabbing this, doing that, up and down the stairs, back and forth, in and out of the car. Physical energy. You need to start somewhere. And you start with your mind.
You have to start with your mind. That's what's going to push you over the edge. Otherwise, you're going to sit and lay there and feel sorry for yourself. As soon as people get into that syndrome, very tough to get out now.
It is.
Because they start feeling sorry for themselves and they feel gypped. Do you think I thought that? I thought that a lot.
Sure you have.
But my mind got me past it. Believe me, there's sometimes I wake up at 2 in the morning, totally exhausted, thinking, I got to get up in a few hours.
Yeah.
How am I going to do that? And a lot travels your mind. You know, you think about things you shouldn't be thinking about. But the mind, when you wake up in the morning, I felt exhausted, but I knew I had to get up.
Yeah.
Sometimes the biggest obstacle is just taking that first step.
Yes, it is.
You know, you're doing that today. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got some hot things going on.
Yeah.
You're not feeling good
Yeah.
after your stint operation, but you still came in. What did you say to me? I'm coming in because it'll help my mind,
Yeah.
you know, and not think about it as much.
Right.
And is that how it's been for you for today, even though you don't feel good?
Yeah, I've had to find the energy, and it's not easy. But I believe it or not, I got moving pretty quick this morning, knowing I had things I needed to get done. We were going to do this today. I have a few things I wanted to get off my plate upstairs, a few people I wanted to meet with to get some things done that we're looking to get done. And automatically, if you notice what I've done the same thing you do. My brain's already running. I just got to pull my body along to do it with it. It starts with the mind and the soul. Your inside soul is what I was trying to drag out and saying, you know what, I'm better than this.
Right.
And yes, I'm sick, so I need to take care of that. You talked about having the flu and staying in bed. You need to rest too, so you can build
At that
that
point,
energy.
you just can't.
You need to recharge to get that energy. And some people think, well, if I lay in bed, I'm going to get lazy. That's not necessarily true. You need to rest your mind and your body too.
You need to feel better.
You do.
Because sometimes what you feel like physically, a flu or anything like that, is a mental breakdown sometimes
Sure,
too.
absolutely.
That can bring us there. But you know, it comes down to you got to be committed. You got to be committed to what you are in life. You know, I'm committed to running this company.
Yep.
I'm committed to my people. I'm committed to my family to provide.
Yep.
You know, I could take time off, but you know what happens when we take time off. You get behind.
Yep.
And behind, problems can happen and things can snowball. So if you're not committed, your mind's not going to really push you.
I love the fact that you brought that in there, because if you're committed, you're going to find that energy. It's just automatic.
You just have to.
You have to.
And don't you notice, even though you still don't feel good, you don't feel as bad
No.
because you got your mind rolling.
Yes, right.
You know, and you know, when somebody has a temperature, it's very tough. I know, I've worked with a temperature before, and I have to go home because when you get a temperature, it's very tough to think.
Because you're sitting there going, you feel like you're gasping for every breath,
Yeah.
because your body is just so beat up with the body temperature being high. You sit there and go,
Right.
and at that point, if you're not into it, go home, recharge, get that energy back.
That's right. You have to recharge. You know, Cubby called it sharpening the saw.
And that's a great analogy. I love that when I heard it, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're taking time, and nobody wants to do that. When you're cutting wood, the last thing you want to do is stop and sharpen the saw, because you're stopping productivity. But you don't realize you are stopping productivity by not sharpening that saw.
Yeah.
You're not going as fast as you should.
You're not as dull. I mean, you're duller than you think you are.
You are exactly
And
that.
it takes so much longer when you're dull. And mental is a big part of our day.
Absolutely.
Because if you really feel so bad physically because of having something, whether it's a sickness like that, or if you got cancer. I mean, I don't know, that's one thing I don't know, and I hope I never have to know. What is it like to get up if you got cancer? You know, hopefully I'm still going to have the same thought process, but I think once you have that, I always want to accomplish things. So I'm a committed person to do that. So my mind always follows that. And again, I get up in the morning, I don't want to get up.
No.
Do I really want to get on that bike? Did I want to run before when I used to run? I never really did things early in the morning. I only do my exercise now and then because it works for me.
Yeah.
It's tough for me at my age to get home, you know, it's supper time, a little bit later than supper time, and get on the bike before I eat.
Sure.
Or go out and take a run before I eat. I'm starving.
I'm the same way.
So if you eat and exercise, you just destroyed what you ate that was good.
Right.
Because your body's going to burn the good first, not the fat.
Correct.
So it's not good to exercise then, eat then exercise. You actually exercise before you eat, because then you burn fat, because you don't have anything good in your body.
Right.
That's why you're feeling weak.
Right.
You know, same
And
thing
you
with
got
the
to
mind.
and again, you got to rejuvenate yourself because you've
That's right.
used up the energy. You now have to recharge it by eating, get yourself ready, and it's all part of the mind.
It's funny, because some days the mind, even if I get on the bike, doesn't want to work, and I get in that first a minute or two, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And my mind pushes me,
Yeah.
and boom, I'm going.
It's
I
energy.
get off the bike, and I say, wow, am I glad I could finish that. It's getting over that hump sometimes of not feeling great that morning. I could be overtired from working a lot that week, having network and things late. It could be a lot of different things. I might have done more that week, because sometimes I do it 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. The last couple weeks I've been doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I've noticed a little bit tired,
Yep.
so I gotta, calm down.
Yep.
And you don't want to overdo anything either.
No.
Because
Everything
if you
in
get
moderation.
sick,
Right.
you ain't coming back anytime soon.
Well, and that's the whole problem. Again, we're going to talk about a key word that we talk about a lot is balance.
Yeah.
And you got to balance it out because, we're not as young as we used to be. It's
Nope.
easy when you're 20 or 25 to say, okay, I can beat this rock. When you're 60 or in your 50s or in your 70s, you need to look at life a little differently. You need to pull your energy from different sources.
I think you get smarter as you get older
You do.
about your body
You have to.
and your mind. Because you're right, you have to. Because if we push ourselves like we did as a kid, we might not be around.
I'll cry.
Cry.
I cry like a baby.
Well, you have to watch what you do.
You
too.
do.
You don't want to push yourself so much where it's ridiculous.
No.
It's good to do, but you can't overdo it.
And you look good. I see a lot more energy. A year ago at this time, you were tired, and physically, emotionally, everything. You took a vacation last summer, which I think really set off
Needed
a lot of
it.
things. You've made some changes in your lifestyle. You're drinking your coffee. You're looking at your diet a little bit different.
Right.
And I don't mean diet as in, this week I'm going to do this diet, that
Yeah.
diet. I'm talking about your nutrition, your intake, your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it gives you more energy every day. I see a brighter eyes. Today's a little bloodshot for some reason.
Yeah, somebody's had a very nice bloodshot today and yesterday.
But you got a brighter eye, you got a bigger smile, you look good, your energy levels seems to be a little bit better, you don't get as frustrated as quickly as you used to.
True.
And it all comes from the energy you're driving by changing some of your lifestyle. You've made a couple of small adjustments, nothing major.
No.
You're not jumping, through hoops.
But I'm at an age now I can't do what I used to do.
No, that's
Try to
great.
calm it back some. And that's mentally tough to do. But again, what are we talking? Mental. Mental is everything in our lives.
Absolutely.
It starts here and goes to here.
Yep.
And that's what drives your spirit, I want to say. Not your soul, but your spirit.
Right.
I have a lot of high spirit because I've always been a person who wants to accomplish.
Yes, you have.
Accomplishment to me, I could be tired, get home, and not like what my vehicle looks like, and have it washed on the way home, and wax it that night when I'm tired.
Yep.
Because I need to accomplish that right
But
now.
how do you feel in the morning when you get in your car to come here?
I felt great.
It's totally different, isn't it?
Because it's part of
It's
who
just
you
a
are.
small thing to do.
It is. It's like when you ever notice the car seems to drive better when you get an oil change.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, I don't have to get an oil change anymore with an electric car.
I know, but-
I remember that.
Yeah.
It felt like it drove better.
Yeah.
Or if you filled the gas tank, you felt it drove better.
Yeah.
But,
Clean it
Yeah,
out, wipe it
it's
down
not-
and everything, and it's just a few things, and all of a sudden you have the energy the next day because your car's got the energy, and you're kind of projecting it back into your vehicle.
And the other key area I feel, Joe, with your energy is you need to stop drawing your energy down. And that, you know what that ends up being? Procrastination.
Yeah. That's the negative.
Living with something that you don't like.
Yep.
My car's a mess. I get in that car, it bothers me, I gotta clean it, I let it go on. What is that doing? It's wearing on my mind.
Yes, it is.
That's taking energy away
Yes,
from
it
you.
is.
So get rid of it. Remember the book, Eat the Frog?
Yeah.
I read, Time of Self-Management really through First Things First with Stephen Covey, which is a very difficult read.
Yeah.
It took me a few times to read that to really get a grasp of what I'm saying. But really when it comes down to it, do the important things first. Get rid of the crap
Yep.
in your life, stuff that's drawing you down, people, things.
They call it garbage for
Clutter.
a reason, you know.
Yeah, it's clutter, garbage.
Yeah.
Get rid of it,
Yeah.
because that's drawing from your energy too, because your mind's thinking about it subconsciously, you don't realize it
It's
is.
negative energy and you don't need it.
And it's bringing you down.
It is.
And it's bringing
And
your
that was-
mind and your energy down.
It's part of what I wanted to tell you, the positive energy, negative energy, positive is drive and motivation, it's purpose, negative is discourage, disappointment,
Yep.
defeat, they all begin with a D.
And that's what that stuff brings you.
And it does, and you don't want that in your life, and everybody's gonna get disappointed, and everyone's gonna get discouraged. But don't get defeated, find that energy to beat that, and you're gonna find yourself living a better life.
Right.
And it's not quantity, it's quality, you want
I
quality.
agree. I think the other thing that drives me is I have a lot of pride.
You do?
A lot of pride in what I do and what I accomplish and what I perceive at or whatever I'm dealing with, the way that's perceived. So pride's a big part of our energy too.
Sure.
Because that's the other thing that helps us get up in the morning.
It does.
I always bring up my Aunt Edith as for an example. Now, my Aunt Edith still drove and line danced 2 to 3 times a week, just shy of her 99th birthday. She stopped only because while she was line dancing, she broke her hip.
Yeah, right.
Now after that,
And that's-
she never drove again, so of course she didn't line dance anymore because of the weakness of that hip, because at that age they weren't going to replace the hip, they fixed it.
Right.
So she wasn't capable of driving or dancing again. And the last 3 years of her life, not that she went down quicker, she lived another 3 years, she died at 102.
I know.
But she was
It's
always
amazing.
going before that.
Yeah.
She had pride in what she did. If she'd come over your house to eat, she was up washing the dishes. I'm like, Anya, we have a dishwasher. Why are you washing the dishes? Oh, I don't mind. I like doing them.
It's old school thinking, but it's
That's
also
pride.
her mind was thinking, because she's building her energy, because if I stop, I'm done.
And her heart. She had a lot of heart.
Yep.
And I think people that get up and go, even if they don't feel good, has a lot of heart too. But it just proved in her life that before she broke her hip, she was always going.
Yes.
If you called her at 8 in the morning, she wasn't home. If you called at 8 at night, if it was light out still, she wasn't home. They made her come home before dark in the winter.
The streetlights came on.
Yeah, really. She had to go home. She was told to. But after that, she didn't get around as much, and you saw the body decline.
Well, her energy.
I really believe if she didn't break that hip, she would have lived longer. She might be even still alive today at 106.
Yeah. Well, her energy level had started, then now the negative is creeping in because something broke on her.
Yeah.
And that is typical at that age, or even usually much younger. Your Aunt Edith was a totally different person. But she found that energy every day to get moving, and that was so important to her.
And especially when you're dealing with that type of stuff, finding a way to get your energy up mentally is such a key to your recovery.
It is.
A lot of people stay sick for a long time because
They dwell in it.
they're dwelling. You said a negative energy.
Yeah,
They live in a negative energy world, and that's not good for anybody.
Take a little time off to think about it. We both had knee surgeries that year, the same year, and we gave it a little bit of a time, but then we immediately started saying, okay, it's time to now, one step at a time, and move forward. You can never stop. Take a little break, sharpen the saw, find new energy, and I think that's really key. Episode 12 is done. I think we did a good job with that. I'm working on episode 13 and 14, and I believe 15, so we're going to have 3 more really good episodes. I'm looking forward to.
Awesome. Well, it's always a fun time, my friend.
Always a pleasure.
I hope
Tim,
everybody-
thank you for your time.
And I hope everybody gets something out of it.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you.